Well, hello. How are we? Happy Sunday. Sorry, just trying to get comfortable here. I'm sitting a bit further back today. I'm thinking maybe you can see more of me. Anyway, hello. How are we? Happy Sunday fun day. I hope things are going well. So first, I want to start today with just a quick correction of sorts. I was actually quite proud of my take last week. I thought, I think I'm getting better at this. And then I realised that when I was talking about my script of a Hebridean adventure and a great exhibition, I said about it plays with history and revealing how the location of the natural history was chosen. Of course, what I meant was the Natural History Museum. So just to clarify that, in case those of you didn't realise what I was referring to. So the Natural History Museum features in it, and I play with the history. Find out also why the Crystal Palace was originally moved. Again, playing with history. And finally, you'll find out what is actually secretly, but really, buried underneath the Natural History Museum. Dun dun dun. So just a reminder, like an idiot last week, I didn't hold it up. So there we go. That's Victorian Adventure Stories. It's free for you if you go on my website, Jon-Jon-Jon.co.uk, and join my newsletter, and you can have a free copy. And Henchman, a great exhibition, and a Hebridean adventure are the scripts that I've written for it so far. So anyway, let's move on quickly. So I promised you this week that we'd be discussing books of last year. January is ticking along, so I want to get it in quickly before it just seems too irrelevant. So my top three, and this is all genres. I haven't really included like textbooks, kind of psychology and stuff, even though I do read psychology for fun and stuff, but it's kind of just more the entertainment section that I've focused on. I'm not going to delineate into different charts. I was going to do, oh, here's my top non-fiction, my top fiction. I've just lumped them all together, which is quite difficult to choose, but I think I've got my list. Anyway, so from last year, first of all, obviously it was very sad to hear of his passing, but is Matthew Perry, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And since poor Matt has passed, it's become more relevant. It was a powerful book, and anyone suffering with addiction, you really should read it. I have to say, I felt sorry for him, to be honest. I mean, all that success and addiction just really kind of plagued him his whole life, but I'll let him explain it. Really good read, enthralling. That's, I'd say that's number three, I think. So, okay, number two is Colditz by Ben McIntyre. Fantastic, really enjoyed it. He's a fantastic historian anyway. I love all of his books, but this did not disappoint. Really kind of fun anecdotes and just really enjoyable to read. Obviously some of it isn't because it was the war and there's obviously harrowing parts to it. But just from a historical point of view, just, yeah, really good way to learn history. And I visited Colditz and I read this just before I go. So that is a top tip for you. If anyone's planning to go to Colditz, read this just before you go, and it will just make it all the worthwhile. The only thing I will say to that though is when you go on the tour, you kind of know nearly as much as them, but not everything. Don't worry, they taught me some things as well. But yeah. So anyway, let's move on. Number one. Anyone that knows me, can you guess what number one is? Come on, it's obvious. Anyone who slightly knows me, of course, it's the one, it's the only, Mr. Bond. It's good to see you again, Mr. Bond. Yes, so Charlie Higson released his first adult James Bond novel on his Majesty's Secret Service. Fantastic read, fantastic book. Just an absolute stroke of inspiration and genius from both himself and the Flemings to come up with something for the King's coronation. Really made my year, to be honest, because I love the fact that they've done that. That's exactly what I'd like to have seen. It's just, I had one wish, a James Bond novel with the King, King Charles III. Long may he reign. So yeah, so there we go. Just want to say yeah, brilliant. And apologies to Charlie Higson, because your predecessor, I tweeted quite a bit when he released his novels, or tweeted that I read them, and I haven't to you yet, so apologies, but I will do. And my birthday's in June, so if you could get a new novel out for me by then, that would be absolutely fantastic. It's a great way to spend your birthday. So anyway, I'm banging on. As anyone, I'm a huge James Bond fan, so excuse me gushing. So I do have to declare absolutely biased always, but yeah, there we go. That's me. But you know what? I just thought I wanted to give a couple of other mentions. Like I say, it's difficult to choose what was, you know, what was what. So I'm going to throw some others out there for you. Some other notables. Unfortunately, another person who's passed away sadly, but is Michael K. Williams. Scenes from My Life. So a lot of people may know him from The Wire and various other roles. I was always interested in his story, and it didn't disappoint. Came from a very rough neighbourhood, and he talks about his life. Really kind of interesting and entertaining, and obviously sad that he's unfortunately passed away. But I'd certainly recommend that as a read. Also, and this I really enjoyed it. I took this on holiday. Really enjoyed it. It's called Murder Machine, and it's, before you think that I'm some kind of freak, because it's about the mafia and stuff, true crime. It was actually the best-selling genre in the world. I don't know if it still is, but it's one of them. But anyway, it's all about the New York mafia in the 80s, and in particular Roy DeMeo and his crew. And the Gemini Lounge, you may have heard of that if you've got any references of the New York Mafia. But yeah, it was just a enthralling account. Obviously brutal in places, but somehow mesmerising, as a lot of true crime is. So there we go. And finally, we all love the 80s, well, I certainly do. Martin Kemp. Ticket to the World. Really enjoyed this. It was a really nice, light, breezy read. Really enjoyed reading about his life and about the 80s. If I remember rightly, he talks about Soho and stuff, and yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed it, so I'd recommend that as well. So okay, this is my first take, so I think I've done it in one take. I think I've got this. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now and just say, hope you have a wonderful week, and look after yourselves, and we shall speak again soon. I have got another Tales from a Script planned, so there will be some more script stuff coming for those that are interested in that. Anyway, I'm going to get on. Okay, cheers. Bye-bye.